This is 1, 3 butadiene. So now we will see the molecular orbital diagram for this. Right. Because we have 4 carbons in this molecule, which will contribute to the molecular orbital formation. So each carbon will contribute 1 p orbital. So altogether 4 atomic orbitals are involved in molecular orbital formation. So we must have 4 molecular orbitals. We must have 4 molecular orbitals. Of course, because it is an even number, there will be no non-bonding molecular orbitals. Half will be bonding molecular orbitals, half will be anti-bonding molecular orbitals. And we have even number, so we don't need to worry about all the molecular orbitals. We can write them. We don't need to miss anyone. Okay. Please take the notes simultaneously along with me. Okay. Please take the notes. Yeah, because we have 4 carbons, we must have 4 more MOs. So these are represented as Psi1, Psi2, Psi3, Psi4. Here we have 2 pi bonds, that means we have 4 pi electrons. So Psi1 will be distributing to, Psi2 we will be distributing to. So altogether, 4 electrons are distributed in Psi1 and Psi2. So according to the definition, it is HOMO, Psi2 is HOMO, Psi3 is LUMO. Psi2 is HOMO, Psi3 is LUMO. So in first molecular orbital, all the molecular orbitals will be in phase. Yeah, one more point. Here nodes are 0, here nodes are 1, here we have 2 nodes, here we have 3 nodes. When we want to distribute the nodes, yes, here we do not have any nodes, so all the orbitals are overlapping in phase. Okay, so see, we need to write them like this. To be frank, we need to write them like this, so they must be overlapping. But here we don't write like that. For simplicity and clarity, we are representing like this. But to be frank, we need to represent them like this, right? Because we have one node, we need to distribute it symmetrically. So altogether we have 4 orbitals. If we place one node in the middle, then 2 orbitals will be before 2 node, and after node also there are 2 orbitals, so it is symmetrically distributed. For example, if we have positive lobes here, because there is no node between these 2 orbitals, so these must be in phase. Because we have a node here, then the orbital phase of the orbital must be reversed. That means above the bond we have negative lobe, below the bond we have positive lobe. Here we do not have any node, so the phase of the orbital will be same. So that means positive lobes below the bond. We have 2 nodes here, so which must be distributed equally. Right. When we want to distribute the nodes, you start from the extreme ends. That means one node here and one node here. Okay. We will start from the end. So one node after this bond, after this one orbital, one node after one orbital. Now you look at this, it represents to somewhat symmetrical. It represents somewhat symmetrical. So if you take it as a positive lobe, because we have node, the orbital symmetry will be reversed. So it is positive lobe. We don't have node between these 2 orbitals, so these 2 orbitals must be in phase. Because we have a node, the orbital phase of the orbital will be reversed. Similarly, we have three nodes here. And of course, there are four orbitals, so we can distribute them one after each orbital. For example, if you take it as a positive lobe, because of the node, phase of the orbital will change. Again, there is a node, so again we need to change the phase of the orbital. Again, there is a node, so we also change the phase of the orbital. Then when we look at the symmetry properties with respect to mirror plane and with respect to axis. With respect to mirror plane, if you have a mirror here and that side and this side both are symmetrical, so it is a symmetry orbital with respect to mirror. With respect to mirror, positive lobes are above the bond, but here negative lobes are there. So that means with respect to mirror, it is an asymmetric orbital. Similarly, here when we look at the so this positive orbital and this positive orbital, so they represent the same. This positive orbital and this positive orbital, they represent the same. So with respect to mirror, so this side and that side they are same. So because it is a symmetrical representation, it is symmetry. Similarly, it is asymmetric. With respect to axis, it becomes asymmetric, it becomes symmetric, it becomes asymmetric, it becomes symmetric. Yeah, please take the notes. Right. Next, we will see about pentadienyl cation as well as pentadienyl anion. Because we have 5 carbons, each carbon will contribute 1p orbital for the molecular orbitals. So we must have uh, 5 molecular orbitals. So we will represent the 5 molecular orbitals. Right. As I said, when you have odd number of molecular orbitals, we must be missing some of the orbitals when we want to distribute the nodes. Okay. As I said, this is psi1, this is psi2, this is psi3, this is psi4, and this is psi5. We have only 4 pi electrons, so psi1 will be filled with 2, psi2 will be filled with 2, others are empty. So this is HOMO, psi2 is HOMO, psi3 is LUMO. When we look at the number of nodes, here we don't have nodes. Here we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is the non-bonding level, right? Psi3 is the non-bonding level. Then if you want to distribute one node among the 5 orbitals, now we will distribute exactly in the middle. That means in the middle we have an orbital. So in this case, we don't have that orbital, right? When we place a node exactly in the middle, we don't have a, an orbital here. So we will have a node like this. Similarly, when we have 2 nodes, of course, 2 nodes can be distributed symmetrically. As I said, take the 5 orbitals, then try to distribute the nodes symmetrically. When you want to distribute the nodes symmetrically, see, we have 2 nodes, right? So we can place one node after two, and from the left side, right side, one node after 2 orbitals, from the left side, one node after 2 orbitals. Then it represents something symmetrical. Even here also, when we want to represent 3 nodes, symmetrically, it is difficult. So here also we need to miss one orbital. We will miss one orbital. So the middle orbital we will be missing again. In the last case, it is easy because there are 5 orbitals and 4 nodes. We can give one node after each orbital. So one node, and this is the third. Here, after each orbital, we will have a node. When we represent the phases of the orbitals, because there are no nodes, all the orbitals must be in phase. That means same phase orbitals. Here, if you take it as a positive lobe, there is no node between these two, so these two will be in same phase. Because we are having a node here, the phase of the orbitals will be reversed. We don't have a node here, so same phase. Similarly, here it will be reversed. Again, it will be reversed because of the node. These two are in same phase. Then, of course, here we have node after each orbital, so each orbital will be in a different phase. Similarly, here. So when we look at the symmetrical properties with respect to mirror, it is symmetrical, it is asymmetric, it is symmetrical, it is asymmetric, it is symmetric. Again, when we look at the symmetry properties with respect to axis, it is asymmetric, it is symmetric, it is asymmetric, it is symmetric, it is asymmetric. Okay, so these are the properties of this pentadienyl cation. When we look at the pentadienyl anion, I'll write the orbitals psi1, psi2, psi3, psi4, psi5. Here, the shapes of the orbitals are similar to cation, so there will be no change. Only the change is number of electrons. In an anion, we have a negative charge and two pi bonds, so we altogether we have 6 pi electrons. So that means two electrons, two electrons, two electrons. In this case, psi3 is the HOMO. Psi3 is the HOMO, psi4 is the LUMO. So this is the only change between change from pentadienyl cation to pentadienyl anion. Again, we can say it matches with the butadiene, because in butadiene also psi2 is HOMO, psi3 is LUMO. So uh, pentadienyl cation reactivity is almost similar to butadiene, whereas pentadienyl anion matches with hexatriene. Hexatriene. So its reactivity is similar to hexatriene. Yeah, please take the notes. Okay, please take the snapshot. I will change this page. Right. We have one more molecule. I don't give this, you try. So we have hexatriene 1 comma 3 comma 5 hexatriene. You try the molecular orbital diagram for this molecule as well as also represent the symmetry properties. Now we will see bond formation between molecular orbitals. Bond formation between MOs. So in the pericyclic reactions, the orbital orientations are important when we want to do a reaction. There are two types of bond formations in a pericyclic reaction. I will represent the two. If we have, if these two are the end carbons, if these two are the end carbons, I will take a simple alkene here. Say for example, these two are in phase, these two are out of phase. These two are in a reverse phases, these two are in the same phase. Then how do we explain the bond formation between these two molecules? I am just representing it in terms of molecular orbitals. When the same phase orbitals approaching each other, see in a normal reaction, what we do, we will write the molecules side by side and we will represent the bonding. But when we want to represent the bonding in terms of molecular orbitals, what we should do, we will write one molecular orbital above, one molecular orbital below. This must be written top, this must be written bottom. Then when these two molecular orbitals approaching with the same phase, so it is called same phase interaction. Same phase interaction is a bonding interaction. Same phase interaction is a bonding interaction. Bonding interaction. When two orbitals are approaching with same phases, it is called suprafacial bond formation. This is called suprafacial bond formation. Suprafacial bond formation. If two orbitals are approaching with the same phases, okay, then they easily overlap with each other so that they will form a bond. So it is called suprafacial bond formation. If two orbitals are approaching with a positive lobe and negative lobe, then they cannot form a bond. They cannot form a bond. So it is anti-bonding interaction. Anti-bonding interaction, because it is because different different phased orbitals are approaching each other, they cannot form a bond. It is anti-bonding interaction. When we want to form a bond between them, it is not possible. Okay, but it is possible if the molecule is a large chain. If the molecule is a large chain, then there is a possibility that this orbital will undergo rotation. So that means it will change its phase. That means it will rotate. When it rotates, the positive lobes comes below the bond, then negative lobe will go upside, right? So in that case, it is possible to form a bond. That means if it is possible for this molecule to rotate the orbital, then the positive lobe can easily approach this orbital. So it is what is called antarafacial bond formation. Antarafacial bond formation. Okay, what is antarafacial? If a direct bonding is not possible when the orbitals are approaching, if they are approaching, one orbital is approaching with a negative lobe, one orbital is approaching with a positive lobe, then they cannot directly undergo bond formation because it is an anti-bonding interaction. Then, if the molecule is large enough to have a rotation of one of the bond, one of the orbital. So if this orbital can undergo rotation, then the positive lobe will come down so that it can easily form a bond. So such type of bond, bonds which are formed by rotating the orbital, that is called antara facial orbit, or antara-facial bond formation. Antara is an Indian word. It is derived from Sanskrit. Of course, we all use this word antara. Antara means inner, right? Supra is a Greek word, but antara is an Indian word. Mostly we know these scientific terms are derived from Greek or Latin, but this is the one which is derived from Indian, antara. Yeah, please take them. So there are two types of bond formations in pericyclic reactions. One is suprafacial bond formation, another one is antarafacial bond formation. If the two orbitals are approaching with the same phase, then they can easily overlap with each other, and that will lead to a bonding interaction. So that is called suprafacial. If the two orbitals are approaching with opposite lobes, so one is approaching with a negative lobe, one is approaching with a positive lobe, that is called anti-bonding interaction. So in that case, a bond formation will not be possible. If one molecule is large enough to have rotation of the orbital, then this orbital will undergo rotation so that these two orbitals are now approaching with a positive lobe. So if the direct approach leads to antibonding interaction and the approach after rotation of the orbital leads to bonding interaction, so such type of bonding interactions are called antarafacial bonding interaction, antarafacial bond formations. Antarafacial bond formations are only possible when we have large chains. It's not possible with ethene. It is not possible with the butadiene. If you have large chains, yes, then it is possible uh, because large size of the chain will be flexible, so it will undergo rotation. Yeah, please take. Please take a snapshot. I'll change this page. Now we will see the reactions of. First, we will see. First, we will see cycloaddition reactions. famous reaction is Diels-Alder reaction. Diels-Alder reaction. It was discovered by Otto Diels Kurt Alder. So they won the Chemistry Nobel Prize in 1950 for this noble reaction. What is a Diels-Alder reaction? A reaction between butadiene and ethylene under very high temperatures, which leads to a bond formation between the across the two ends. So a bond formation takes place here. Similarly, a bond formation takes place here. So which generates a six-membered ring with rearrangement in pi bonds. So it is a cycloaddition between butadiene and ethene to give the six-membered cycle. This 4 pi electron system, this is a 2 pi electron system. 4 pi electron system is called as diene. 2 pi electron system is called as dienophile. So when we treat a diene and dienophile at very high temperatures, the reaction is generally conducted in a sealed tube at very high temperature. So we will get a six-membered ring. Here, three pi bonds are involved, and we are generating two sigma bonds and one pi bond. So this is called a Diels-Alder reaction. But when we look at this simple reaction, we usually get very poor yield. So the Diels-Alder reaction between unsubstituted diene and dienophile, they will result in poor yield. To improve the yield, what we need to do, we need to place some electron releasing groups on the diene and electron withdrawing groups on the dienophile. Then when we do the reaction, so they will result in high yield. So we will get, generally we will get 100% yield. See, when you look at the starting materials and the product, here all the atoms in the starting material, they are appearing in the product also. That means not even a single atom is lost from the starting materials. So that is why these are called atom economic reactions. What is sealed tube? It is a simple tube which comes with a cap. So we will take all the starting materials. We don't need even a solvent also. Just take the reactants, keep it in the sealed tube, close it, then heat it to a high temperature so that we will get the product.